Hello again, my name is Ernest Menu. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, 10 out of 16 regions have confirmed COVID-19 cases. The Volta and Western regions are the latest to have added to the lot so far. Now, 10 cases have been recorded, while the Western region has confirmed 1 case. Before we delve into the 2 specific cases, let's give you a breakdown of the regional situation at the moment. So that's the situation as it stands now. We have Upper West 7, Upper East 4, Northeast 1. Northern region has 10 cases so far. And I will tell you about the other regions as well shortly. This is for the northern part of the country. Now, when you move down south, we have the Ashanti region with 49 cases. The eastern region has 32 cases. Just last week, there were about only 16. Now, over the weekend, we have 32. The central region has recorded its first case. Greater Accra is leading so far with 452 cases. Now, yes, the Western region has recorded its first case, and of course, the Volta region also has 9 cases, and these are the latest figures per the updates we have from the Ghana Health Service. So now let's take you to the Volta region, and we'll hear for an update on the specific cases of the 9 that has been recorded so far. We are joined on the phone by the Regional Health Director, Dr. Senanu Jokoto. Thank you very much for your time here on Newsdesk. 1 case in Ho and a 48-year-old male returnee from Accra. Give us the breakdown of the first 9 cases the Volta region has recorded.
Thank you very much. Very good morning to you and all your listeners. I am the Deputy Director for Public Health for the Volta region, and I'm speaking on behalf of my Regional Director of Health Services, who is Dr. Timothy Lecha.
Very well,
so like you rightly said, we have 9 positive cases in the Volta region. 6 of them were people who were quarantined after they tried to reach the borders of the country after they were closed. They were apprehended and then quarantined. So out of the 56 people who were quarantined, 6 of them turned out positive. We had 1 returnee coming into Ho, came into Ho 12 days ago and started showing symptoms about 3 days ago. Immediately the client was sent into isolation. The sample was taken to Noguchi, and that turned out positive. The client is stable now. He's doing well. And like I mentioned, is in isolation. So there are 2 other cases in Hohoi. Both of them had returned from Accra. And in all, one is a 22-year-old pregnant woman who came back specifically to deliver here in the Volta region. Delivered, started after about a day, presented with fever and running nose and cough, which are symptoms of COVID-19. So met the case definition, samples were taken, and that turned out to be positive as well. The last case also returned from Accra and then called for help after he started experiencing those symptoms. We went through the routine as usual and took the sample and sent to Noguchi as well, and that also turned out positive. So that is a brief breakdown of the 9 cases that we have in the Volta region.
Very interesting details there, but what is the status of PPEs for your medical team in the region and the general state of preparedness? Should there be a lockdown?
Thank you. So I would want to thank all who have so far supported and supporting all the facilities with PPEs, especially Ghana Health Service and the Ministry of Health. At present, we have PPEs in all the treatment centers or case management and isolation centers. But we know that going forward, because the consumption rate is high, we expect that if we expect to get more deliveries. I know that by the end of this week or middle of this week, we are supposed to get more deliveries from the Ghana Health Service. But the individuals who can support should also continue to to support because the PPEs are still very much in high demand. Lockdown has not been spoken about in the Volta region, but it's something that people are expecting because cases are being recorded, especially if we get into the situation where we record community transmission, then that will be something that the national EOC would have to consider.
Do you have an isolation center, properly so-called, in the region to hold some of these cases?
So at present, we have 4 case management and isolation centers. One at the Ketu South Municipal Hospital, one at the Hohoi Municipal Hospital, which is designated as the Volta Regional Hospital now. One at the Bato Catholic Hospital, one of the best prepared facilities in the Volta region. And then the one at the Ho Teaching Hospital. For the Ho Teaching Hospital, what is being done at present is to quickly prepare a 40-room facility to serve the entire region. And we are working towards getting that running within this week.
And I don't know which of these facilities is closer to the border, because a few weeks ago there was a situation at the Aflao border, and it was difficult for the immigration officers there and even for the assembly because there was no holding center, for instance. How are you handling the situation at the border, in the border towns?
South Municipal Hospital is the closest hospital to the Aflao border. There are other major points of entry. You can talk about the Kanu border and Ketu North. And then when you come to Ho, there's the Shianyuve border. In between, there are other smaller borders. But for Ketu South, they have a 10-bed capacity isolation center, which would be supported by the Ho Teaching Hospital, which has a 40-bed capacity case management center. So if need be, if it's 1.5 hours drive, Ho is 1.5 hours drive from Aflao. So the plan, the contingency plan is to move them to Ho if it becomes necessary. We have already discussed with the Ghana Ambulance Service, and they have a dedicated ambulance for this purpose should it become necessary.
With regards to public education, how has it gone so far, and what is the plan going forward, seeing that you now have 9 cases?
I would very much have to thank all the stakeholders within the Volta region, from the regional minister, who happens to be a senior public health specialist as well, and the entire public health emergency management committee, and most especially the media. So far in the Volta region, they've done a yeoman's job. Risk communication is something that's always discussed on all the major radio stations. In fact, all the radio stations. So they've made it a duty, a responsibility to always speak about COVID-19 daily for about the past 6 weeks. We've had the opportunity to meet most of the morning show hosts and program managers. And we've taken them through trainings, and we continue to help them communicate to the entire public. And the aim is to enhance our surveillance, because if the population is educated, then we are sure that we'll be able to pick up cases very early. And the second objective is to allay their fear so that we don't have any panic situation in the Volta region. At a local level, we are using the community information centers. We are working together with the assemblymen, with the unit committee members as well, and to ensure that the message reaches them appropriately. And then for areas with specific challenges, rumors and co, we quickly investigate and give them the required feedback.
Dr. Jokoto, thank you very much for your time here on Newsdesk. He is the Deputy Health Director in charge of public health in the Volta region. He joined us with an update of the situation. As you may know, they now have 9 cases for starters for the region. Let's go live now and speak to correspondent Ivy Setoji for some more update on the situation. Ivy, 9 cases to start with. How are people reacting to this? Do we have Ivy on the line? Ivy, if you can hear me, tell me how people are reacting to the announcement that the Volta region has recorded 9 cases. All right, so we'll reconnect with Ivy Setoji and bring you that reaction from the Volta region. But just so you know, these are the figures, the breakdown in terms of the total we have now. For the Upper West 7, Upper East 4, Northeast we have 1, and the Northern region has 10 cases so far. So this is what it looks like in the Northern Belt. When you come down south, and the figures will come up shortly, the Greater Accra obviously is leading with 452. The Central region has recorded its first case. We have the Eastern region with 32 cases, and a huge chunk of that number, are foreigners, many of them Indians working on the railway line, we understand, and the Ashanti region has also 49 cases. We return to the Volta region. We have the DCE4 in Kwanta North, Mr. Jackson Jakayi, for more on the social distancing, because we understand that traders at the Jackson Basa market are not adhering to the protocol at all. What is the assembly doing, sir, about this situation?
Let me take the opportunity and say hello to all your listeners. Yes, in Kwanta North District, we've done a lot when it comes to social distancing. We've done a lot of public education. We've done a lot of sensitization, with the exception of the market. But with the market, we've done a lot of sensitization and education there. The past market, what happened was that the pressure was too much. So we were able to provide a lot of Veronica buckets for hand washing, and we put some security measures in place to ensure that there would be this kind of social distancing. But it was not effective. Luckily for us, we have a new site that we intend to put a market there. So this particular week, we want to transfer some of the market equipment to that place to ensure that there is not what they call the pressure at the former place. So we have prepared a new site where we are arranging seriously for the market to, especially the grain sellers and the cereal sellers. They will go to move to that new site so that there will not be so much congestion. So we are doing a lot. You know, it is a human problem. Everybody wants to get some ingredients to the house because of food. So the pressure is high, but we are doing a lot to ensure that the social distancing problem is solved. Yeah.
So you are moving about half of the market women to a new site.
Definitely.
How many? Do you have the figures?
In fact, some markets are a very huge market. In fact, there's people from the north come, the south, and everywhere, almost even Accra. So, in fact, I will not be able to be sincere with you.
But have you communicated this to the market women? And what is the plan to ensure that?
Announcement was done last week, and this week will be done, so that we'll know next week. But we are doing a lot of begging and putting in some chips to ensure that we do that by next week. So that is the preparation needs to be done. Rather than looking at the numbers, the pressure is so much, and everybody, you can't stop anybody from coming to buy whatever you want to do, but I think with the education that has gone around, everybody is now know that it's bestowed on everybody, each and every one of us, to cooperate to ensure that the social distancing principle is observed.
I'm not
so for
sure.
The numbers, I will not be able to tell you offhand.
I'm not sure if just relocating half of the market women will necessarily result in a respect for the protocols. What exactly are you doing? I mean, reducing the number is good, but in terms of human relation and touch, have you put in place, structures that will ensure that they are spaced out properly and that they do not, come into very close contact with each other?
That's what I'm telling you. Education is key. I think the first education we did, the first announcement we did, and we have this information van that is in the market. We've also called stakeholders like market queen women, market queens, Yam Sellers Association leaders, and all those stakeholders we have in the market. And I've spoken to the leadership. However, we have a team, a monitoring team that will be in the market this week to ensure that we instill discipline and ensure that we not force, but just to educate them and let them know that it's the responsibility of everybody to ensure that whatever you are doing, you don't get very close to your neighbor, your own interest. So this week we will look at, but education is done, but this week's market will tell us the next plan of action to take. We hope everything will be okay.
But has the market been disinfected as part of the exercise?
Seriously, the market was disinfected. We have 5 big markets, all the way disinfected, along the streets, everybody shops, in front of the shops and everywhere, properly disinfected. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're
and
welcome.
That is the DCE for Nkwanta North. He joined us with an update. We understand that there's so much crowding at the market there, but he says half of the market women will be moved to a new site so that they can ensure that social distancing is adhered to. My colleague Ivy Setoji joins us on the line. Ivy, you have 9 cases in the region. How are people reacting?
People actually are not living in fear, especially residents in the Curtis South District and some parts of the southern part of the region because of what happened. People in Central Zone currently are also living in fear because most traders from Togo and Afra will normally come to the market to buy their wares and sell as well. So the whole part of the southern border is on edge now as residents don't really know what is going to happen next because of the 9 cases currently recorded in the water region. We are currently at the central market, that is the Kumasi market, where there is a huge crowd, even though the market has been closed down, was closed down yesterday. But according to information we are gathering, that the information came late after the 9 cases were recorded. The information came late, so most of the traders had already come to town to start their businesses today. So in this market right now, the place is full up. Traders are still doing their businesses.
Ivy, I'm wondering if the decision was taken to close down the market, weren't the security officers and other officials to ensure that indeed the market was closed?
Yeah, well, the decision was taken according to what we are hearing. After the cases were released, or the recorded cases, there was a press release on the recorded cases. That was when the decision was taken to close the market. Today is market day in Kumasi in the central zone district. And the crowd here is huge. We're not expecting this. But according to the DP for the area, Thomas more so that there is a new site that they want to move some of the traders to so that they can decongest this particular market. We are currently here and we are hoping to see the traders being moved to the new site. So that is what is happening. Other towns, so the markets have been closed. Obviously, today is not market day in some of the areas, so everything is in order there. But here in Central Town, the crowd here at the market is overwhelming.
Ivy, thank you very much for that update. Let's speak to the Volta Regional Minister, Dr. Archibald Lecha, for some more on this. Dr. Lecha, thank you very much for joining us here on Newsdesk. Very disturbing. You have 9 cases, but the markets are choked with a lot of people there. One of the markets, like Ivy just told us, was supposed to be closed down, but you have a lot of people trooping in. How is the Regional Security Council handling this issue?
Thank you very much, Ernest.
Yes, sir.
And good morning to your listeners. Because these decisions are taking, the assemblies have received advice from the Regional Public Health Emergency Management Committee to find a way of decongesting the market. And we suggested that we should abolish market days and open the markets on daily basis so that we don't have overcrowding on the traditional market days. So that has been done in many of our assemblies. But when it came, we heard of the cases in Lower Manya, Krobo, that is very close to the North Town district. Then we we decided to close the Joapo market. We also decided to close the KC3 market, the Germany, and the markets, all the markets that are close to North Town. Then South Town also decided to close the Sovakope market.
Okay.
Tetu South also decided to do same in Aplau. And then yesterday I was informed by Central Town DC that they were also going to close the market. The whole market, today is whole market day. But what has been done in whole is that we provided security. There are 20 policemen and 20 soldiers that are in the market. So there are no traders in the whole market today. It's supposed to be the traditional market day, but the chiefs with the queen mothers and all of us agreed that today should be a cleanup in the market. So we have security presence in the market. So I'm surprised to hear that when it came to what is happening in Kumasi now, even though markets have been closed and the market, the traders have come. I will speak to the DC, I'm not aware of this, and find out what consultations were done and what security arrangements were put in place to make sure that whatever they decided was enforced. I'm here to speak to the DC to find out what happened. So I'm just hearing it on your network. But at our level, at the regional level, we give direction to the 18 municipal and district assemblies that we have, and they are doing so well in carrying out the directives.
So from what you tell us, about 5 markets have closed down already, and a lot of restructuring in some other markets. Probably will have some other markets also closing down in the course of the week. As head of security for the region, would you recommend any form of a lockdown or some restrictions in the immediate term so you can nip this in the bud, prevent further spread of the disease?
Well, we're going to have an emergency meeting in from now, and then we will take the joint decision as the regional public health emergency management committee to see what recommendations we can make to government. But as of now, I am of the opinion that the measures that we put in place are okay for now. People are calling for more drastic measures. People are also advocating the closure of all the markets along the border lake, which we're looking at. But when we considered where the Eastern regional cases were, they are so close to us here around the Asojamine and the Lower Manyakobo that we think that the measures that we are taking around North Town, South Dine should be enough for now. But when it becomes necessary, and we hear of cases, let's say in the Afram Plains or the Afram Plains area, then we may have to consider movement of people from Afram Plains to our markets along the water lake. But we are not there yet. And I believe that the measures that we put in place are okay for now until, of course, when we meet and then we review the situation. But the 9 cases that we've had so far in the region, if you analyze it carefully, you realize that the 6 cases we have in Aplau are people who came from outside the country through our to unapproved rules, and they were apprehended and put on mandatory quarantine, like many others that we've done, but they all tested negative. But these ones, 6 young men, very healthy looking, have 10 positive. These are the 6 in Aplau. And for the Hohwe and the Ho cases, the 2 of them are from Accra and 1 of them from Ashama. So we're doing the contact tracing to ensure that there is no community, to know at least the extent of community transmission that we have at the moment.
And that brings me to what you're doing along the coast. You have people trying to come through the borders, inland borders. What are you doing along the coast as well?
Yeah, along the coast as well. We're depending on the Marine Police and the Ghana Navy. And also, the vigilance of the communities along the coast has been commendable. Because when they see anything strange, the people coming in, the community is able to draw attention. The Keto South Assembly and the Keta assemblies are those that border that are coastline.
Okay.
And they are they are working in collaboration with the local communities, and so far I would say so good.
Dr. Letcher, thank you very much for your time here on Newsdesk. That's the Volta Regional Minister telling us about what they're doing. The Regional Security Council will be meeting shortly to take a decision going forward after they recorded 9 cases. Now, they've also recorded their first case. I'm talking about the Western region. And Natalia Kwanzaa is my colleague there. She joins us via Skype with more. Ina, how are people reacting to this?
Well, before we even recorded a case, so people in the Western region have been very careful. In some instances, we are not part of the lockdown regions, but you see that people are locked down in their rooms. A typical example was last week Monday when they were having this disinfection outside of the marketplace. The transport terminals were all closed, shops closed, and everyone was indoors. It has been safe. So when we heard of the news of the region recording 1 case yesterday, this morning I've been in town and virtually it seems most of the streets are empty. People are scared. The few people I speak to, they are eager to know where it is coming from. How can they ensure that they are careful? What is happening? What are authorities saying? Of which they haven't said anything yet as of now. So people of the Western region are scared. But then there are the directives by the president is being observed here, and then social distancing is also observed here at most places, except yesterday at Sekengi. You know, they have this festival they celebrate every year known as Yeshua Story. In the evening at Konfuase, you had people packed up, but I understand that security agents, task force went there to make sure that everyone went to their room.
When the announcement was made of the restrictions here in Accra and Kumasi, there was a huge movement of people to the Western region. I wonder what the terminals are looking like right now.
Yes, so Ernest, when the announcement was made by the president, I think Saturday morning, the Regional Coordinating Council had a meeting, and then they started putting in measures where when you are coming from Accra to Takoradi, the main entrance is from Biposo. That's where you can enter. And then if you are coming from the Western North region, those who pass through Seshi and others to Takoradi, the regional capital, they also mounted a checkpoint at Papa in Suayim, and then one at Biposo. So whenever a bus gets there, what they do is they drop everyone in the bus, and then they get down, and then they check their temperatures. If your temperature is more than 37.5 degrees Celsius, what the health officials do is they take your contact, and then they give you their contact, and according to them, they keep on checking up on them to find out if they have experienced other symptoms, because they can't just conclude with a high temperature that you are positive or you tested positive to COVID-19. And honestly, this check-in is still going on. They haven't stopped. This is something they are still doing.
And do you have details of this very first case, where it was recorded, who this person is?
Unfortunately, and as the Western Regional Coordinating Council has not spoken to it, the Western Regional Health Director has not spoken to this, but my sources say that this case is an imported case in the Shama district. Before I had these sources telling me this, people had come out saying this case is coming from Elembele and all that. It was all over social media.
And we understand the Elembele district, the assembly has reacted to this?
Yes, and so I have a communique from the Bonzoke, which says, I want to read a few of it.
Yeah, briefly.
Our attention has been drawn to rumors, speculation on social media about the confirmed case of COVID-19 in Elembele district. As of Sunday, April 12, 2020, we wish to state that the said information is completely false and should be disregarded by the general public. We wish to assure the general public that the Elembele District Public Health Emergency Committee is working in close collaboration with all relevant stakeholders to ensure that the good people of Elembele are safe from the novel coronavirus pandemic. We therefore call on all residents of Elembele to remain calm and abide by all the directives issued by both the central government and the district assembly to prevent and contain the spread of COVID-19 in Elembele. So this is what the DC is saying. But as for Shama, they haven't brought up any communique. Just like I said before, my sources are saying this person is from is a Shama. Ghana, and it is an imported case.
Ina, thank you. Keep following this so we can have some more updates in our subsequent bulletins. Ina Thela Kwansa is our Western Regional correspondent. Now, the police has resolved it will go harder on persons who are bent on flouting safety protocols put in place in the fight against COVID-19. Speaking on Joy FM Super Morning Show with Daniel Dazi, Director General in charge of operations at the Accra Regional Office, ACP Kwesifori, said his men are on the lookout for individuals, commercial drivers and a host of other small businesses who are secretly doing their business and exposing their customers to the disease.
We're going to do more. We're going to deliver more. We're going to make sure that the checks system improves. We're going to make sure that we question people. We're going to make sure that people need not be there. It should be done with and sent away home. We're going to make sure that a lot of people, go through rigorous kind of interview, and we're not going to use, that sort of hard approach to issues. We are very mindful of our human rights, and we are very mindful that we should treat people decently. And when he talks about the hard, like the beaches today, we are out there to prevent whoever comes around. And that is part of the tough arrangement he's talking about. That it talks about police authority on the ground, police primacy on the ground. That is what he's talking about. And we'll make sure that the security presence actually deter people from going to no-go areas. And that is what he means by that. I mean, of late also we've noticed something, that people are using their private car to transport others who are non-essential workers. It's another feature in these security operations where people use their private cars, even company cars, try to, take others who are not part of them. And when we interview and we notice that, we drop them.
You're watching News Desk here on your JoyNews channel with me, and as been still to come, ban to get new district hospitals as MPs rally support for the construction of its first district hospital in the wake of COVID-19. We have details of all these and more after this break. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us here on JoyNews Desk with me, Ernest Mino. Before we bring you that story on the Banda Hospital, let's bring you an excerpt of the lockdown yesterday with MFR Pao and the General Secretary of the Ghana Medical Association, Dr. Justice Yankson. They were answering all your questions on health as far as COVID-19 is concerned. Watch this.
Dr. Justice, there has been a debate lately on the internet which has left an indentation of doubt as to whether the virus is airborne or not. I would like you to explain and clarify in your able brevity as to whether one could contract this virus by air or not. Thank you.
In these times, the information, the education hasn't gone down to the understanding of the ordinary people, because as a man, some people don't still understand. We don't know how dangerous the virus is. So what are you doing to help spread the information that this virus is very dangerous?
I'm Vincent, speaking from the Eastern region, in Krakai to be precise. We've heard various news on social media and traditional media that there are a lot of cases confirmed and positive cases in the Eastern region. Bomb and it virus to be precise. The Indians doing the rail from Akosomo to Tema, they are begging of the president that he should take drastic measures immediately to curb the spread of the disease in the Eastern region. If appropriate, he should lock down part of the Eastern region, Somenya, Tudumase, Agomenya, and Pom, so that the spread of the disease can be kept. Because these Indians have made contact with a lot of people in the community. We beg of the president, they should do this as soon as possible so that we are all safe.
Dr. Yankson, we'll get straight into the questions. So the first one is asking whether COVID-19 is airborne.
Okay.
Let me start off this way. The disease itself, the novel coronavirus, it's something that is new with all of us. Yeah. And the research, the publications, the studies about it is ongoing, and knowledge is being updated from time to time. Mm-hmm. Now, what currently is on the ground is this. The disease is spread by droplets. Okay. So the sick person or the infected person will bring these droplets out. It falls onto a surface. Mm-hmm. It could also fall on your face depending on how close you are. And that is why we are talking about social distancing. So once it gets to your face, then you end up getting infected. So that is the primary mode of transmission. Now the debate about whether it's airborne or not, the position of the World Health Organization is this, that the studies have shown that in some situations, especially hospital setups, where some procedures are actually performed, you could have these droplets in the form of aerosols that can stay in the environment for up to about 8 minutes before they drop. So clearly, it is not one that as you move along, you just inhale and you get it. But like I said, the studies are ongoing. So this debate about whether it's airborne or otherwise is as a result of what the WHO put out there, clearly stating that, look, under some conditions, especially within hospital setup and where some procedures.
It looks like Rita also has questions about the use of the masks and whether it should be an everyday thing and whether it should be made available to everybody. It's an issue we were talking about earlier.
We spoke about this earlier, but as things stands now, you are better off using the mask because obviously where there's a threat, it can give you some amount of protection. Without it, you are very open. Okay. It is not a panacea to all our problems, but it also aids you as a person because if some droplets are coming closer to you and they go onto the mask, there is a filter in between, so that will prevent the droplets from getting to your face or the openings around the face.
And of course, that's the General Secretary of the GMA, Dr. Yangsin, and my colleague MFR Paul. The lockdown is on this channel on Sundays at 7:30 p.m. Do make a date with us. Now, some rural folks in deprived districts travel long distances to seek proper health care. Banda community in the Bono region is one of such areas without a district hospital, and in the wake of this coronavirus, that is quite crucial. But the situation could change soon as the Member of Parliament rallies support from the chiefs and people to put up a district hospital to serve the needs of the people. Ahmed Ibrahim made the revelation during a donation of items to support the District Health Directorate in their work against the spread of the coronavirus. Bono Regional Correspondent Precious Semifo reports.
With Ghana figures of the coronavirus on the increase, the need to soar the education of preventive protocols remain key. To assist in that regard, the Member of Parliament for Banda, Ahmed Ibrahim, has donated items to the District Health Directorate. The items include 2,500 pieces of hand sanitizers, 70 Veronica buckets, 70 receptacles, 30 stands and 60 pieces of tissue papers worth 40,000 Ghana cedis. Receiving the items, Banda District Health Director Simon Adams said they have 2 health centers, a rural clinic, and 8 chip compounds, adding an upgrade will improve service delivery in the district.
During midnight, physician assistant will have to refer cases from chip compounds, are referred in a bad state. So if we should have a hospital here, it's going to help us very much, very well. This district was created almost 10 years ago. The district is without an office accommodation. When you enter where I sit as an office, I share this small room with our accountant, 1 table, 1 chair each, which is very bad. Again, we don't also have staff accommodation. We've mounted barriers in all the points leading to the districts. So should anybody, decide to enter the district, first of all, we screen you, we pick your details, your name, your address, your telephone number, and all that, so that as and when what the need be, we call you to find out how you're doing.
Speaking to Joy News, Banda MP Ahmed Ibrahim said they cannot continue to wait upon the central government for all their needs, calling on the chiefs and people to support him to get the district a hospital.
I'm using my MP's share of the National Health Insurance Fund together with my common fund to expand this one and convert it into a district hospital. I need about 50,000 blocks. Already I've procured about 17,000 and I have 9,000 somewhere. I have procured these chippings, I've procured quarry ducts, I've procured this iron rods that I use. I'm going to use 6 million Ghana cedis to build the 36 million facility that they are building everywhere. And that is clearly what I'm doing. So once I procure the material, there's a consultant, then we'll get the local labor to support, calling on Ananum that we should not sit here waiting for the central government. That government will do, government will do. What if government doesn't come? It means we'll be here. Assuming we had a district hospital, here would have been government priority area that government will bring every PPE that government was bringing.
He also appealed to the people to adhere to the directives of the president to stop the spread of COVID-19.
Leadership give direction. The followers must subject and submit to the directive that leadership is giving. That is why I'm saying that we must all submit to the necessary protocols that the president is giving. The president too must also walk the talk to make sure that he also consult. And that is why the two major parties have COVID-19 teams. The opposition one works to complement the effort of the governing one.
For Joy News, Precious Semevo, Banda.
You're welcome back. Now, the Bono Regional Health Directorate has earmarked the Techiman Holy Family Hospital for the management of severe COVID-19 cases. The Bono East region yet to record any confirmed case. This came to light when the Boso Mankotere Cooperative Credit Union donated PPEs worth 100,000 to the Regional Health Directorate to help combat the pandemic. Regional correspondent Anasa Bit reports.
On personal protective equipment to protect themselves and their patients from being infected and infecting others. However, since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, shortages of these PPEs are leaving doctors, nurses, and other frontline workers dangerously ill-equipped to care for COVID-19 patients due to limited access to supplies. As a result of this, the Abosomankotre Cooperative Credit Union has donated personal protective equipment worth over 100,000 Ghana cedis to the Bono East Regional Health Directorate for onward distribution to 31 hospitals and allied health institutions within its catchment areas. Mr. Afobu Prosper is the CEO of the credit union.
When the pandemic hit the world, we thought it as a duty, as one of the pillars of the cooperative that's giving back to the society, to donate these items worth over 100,000 Ghana cedis to help the government, the traditional council, and the hospitals in our catchment areas to actually help fight the pandemic. We are donating these items to about 31 health facilities. And we are sharing the items according to the strength of those facilities. Of course, some are secondary hospitals, others are maternity homes, others are clinics and CHIP compounds. So we are going to share the items based on their strength and their needs. We did needs-based assessment before we acquired these materials.
Regional Health Director Dr. Fred Adumakomboatin indicated that the Holy Family Hospital has been earmarked to respond to severe cases, adding that the region is working with all health institutions as a unit.
One of the ways that we are trying to fight this COVID-19 is to fight against it as a region. not as an individual facility. So that is the plan that we have put in. And because of that, we have designated some facilities that will see moderate cases. We are not going to allow almost every hospital to be seeing cases of COVID-19. No. If you do that, we have challenge with the PPE. So as a region, Holy Family Hospital have been assigned as a facility that will manage the severe cases. And because of that, they will need much of the PPEs. We also have some facilities that we have earmarked as as the facilities that will see the moderate cases. But the key thing in fighting this COVID-19 is organization and working together as a unit.
On his part, Bono East Regional Minister Honorable Kofi Amakohene applauded the union for its support and called on corporate bodies to do same.
I think it's been a very remarkable thing that Abosiman Kutre Credit Union have done, and I think we do appreciate it so much. In fact, it's been the first of its kind, and I believe that we would need more. And I'll use the same opportunity to plead on to the corporate Bono East to respond to their social call, because this is the time that we need their assistance.
Mr. Afubu Prosper, however, has a plea to the general public on the need to desist from spreading falsehood, adding that precious lives will be lost if care is not taken.
Just last week, a friend of mine lost his wife, who was a chronic asthmatic patient. When he was taken to a facility and he had an attack, all the health professionals were running away because they said, I didn't be. By the time they sent her to the regional hospital, he has already expired. So you could see. So if care is not taken, and if you don't sanitize the air with, before you realize, we are going to lose a lot of precious life who may not be suffering from the COVID-19.
So that's it for Newsdesk. Many thanks for your company. Stay home, wash your hands, use the sanitizers, observe social distancing. You can find more stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I'm Smith. Good morning.